Have reached 1 o'clock now, so let's get into the swing of things. I've got a lot of ground to cover today, so I'm gonna get straight into it. Anyway, let me start sharing my screen. So when it comes to basic maintenance, and I'm actually very happy that I can do this with you guys, because I see so many clients and they all have like these small little issues that you can easily iron out, and eventually these small issues become big issues, and later on you're sitting with a slow machine, you take it to somebody for a quick service and the thing is like super fast afterwards, and you thought to yourself that you needed to buy a new machine. But now I'm going to quickly look at those things. So point number one, when it comes to basic maintenance, first thing you always need to put on top of your priority list is backup. Okay, very important is your backup, and this is your safety net. If anything goes seriously sideways with your machine, you still have that. So two backups at least. Guys, my motto, I always say there's no such thing as having too many backups. So I always refer to my local backup, my time machine backup. And I'm just going to show you guys when I go to my system preferences and I go to time machine, my time machine preferences, then it's important that you have this setting turned on. Show time machine and menu bar, which will then show you the little icon at the top. And here you can indicate if you are backing up on a regular basis, and it will tell you when last your backup was. Okay, and you can back up manually now as well if you want to. Now be careful, guys. I've had this a lot from clients, and we've talked about this in our previous sessions as well, where people actually say, yes, but Angela, I do have an iCloud backup. Yes, all good and well, but I would look at iCloud backup as being quite limited, meaning the whole emphasis of iCloud is to make you the individual, the center of your universe, and not your machines, not your devices, okay? So now when you go to iCloud, yes, it keeps a central storage or information of your information in the cloud, but if you delete anything by mistake, it will only keep it there for 30 days. Okay, you can still restore it, but what happens if you go beyond 30 days? And this is where the issue comes in. So I'm just going to quickly show you guys this. So in my iCloud here, I can easily go to account settings. So if I've now deleted something and I want to get it back, and I think it's still within the 30-day period, I can go into iCloud, log in my account settings, and at the bottom I've got this restore files, restore contacts, restore calendars. So it's a handy tool to have if you are on iCloud. Okay. Now, with the backup out of the way, there are of course other online backup services. When we get into our questions, I'll ask Alan. I can't remember what the name of it was, but there is another backup solution, an online backup solution. Now, with the backup out of the way, the next piece of our maintenance is upgrade versus updating. Okay, so my Mac must be up to date. Also, we're going to talk a little bit about upgrading. Now, first of all, there are two places where you check your updates. Okay, so if you go to your, again, your Apple menu, system preferences, and in your system preferences, you will see that there's software update. Guys, update came out yesterday, okay? And this is the update that came out. So you can see that they have got an update setting ready. I can now click on update now, which I'm not going to do at this point, and then we'll do the update. Now, when it comes to upgrading, now some of you might ask, Angela, what's the difference between upgrading and updating? Well, updating is where you do improvements on the existing software on your machine. Upgrading is when you upgrade from one version to a totally new version on your Mac. So as you've heard, or for those who did not hear yet, that macOS 11 Big Sur might be coming to our machines, or notification of it might come to our machines within, I would say, 4 to 6 weeks time, more or less. That's the rumor. So when it comes out, guys, a lot of people will be like, oh, I need to do it. But remember, when new software comes out, there's always this issue with, or teething issues. You know, you might be running Adobe, you might be running some other third-party software that might not support it at the time, or that the OS cannot support at the time. And these things you need to take into consideration. I always tell my clients, when you want to upgrade, rather contact our sales guys, our technical guys, or even myself or Alan, and ask us if it's the right time to make the upgrade. Okay, so that is in terms of our system updates. Also, upgrades will appear here. Now, when it comes to the other updates is our software, and that is now when we go to the App Store. Now, under the App Store, this is where we'll update all of our software that comes with the Mac, as well as the software that you've purchased through the App Store. Any other third-party software that you've downloaded or installed outside of App Store, I would say look under the About option of that software. So in other words, I've got VLC, like many of us have VLC on our Mac, which is a media player. And on VLC, if I want to do an update, I'm not going to do it via the App Store because it's not available on the App Store. I'll actually go into VLC at the top of my menu bar and check for update there. Okay? So very important that you do regular updates. Now, guys, you can do automatic updates, or you can switch it on the Mac. However, I'm just going to go back to System Preferences to my software update. You can switch it on under the Advanced tab. You can see all of mine is turned on. However, I do tell my clients to at least once or twice a month just to check it out if the updates have been done. Okay, especially for those who are on laptops, you're not always in the Wi-Fi zone. And this can, you know, cause the fact that it's not doing the update as you expect it would. So take that into consideration as well. Okay, so that is in terms of the updates. Now, when it comes to very important part of the maintenance is, of course, the clearing up of unnecessary clutter on your machine. Now, the first thing I want to, this is an ease, I'm going to start from the ease and I'm going to go much deeper. Now, first of all, I always go and I clear people's trash, okay, or their bins. Now, as you can mention, as I refer to it as plural bins, because people don't take into consideration that there's more than one bin. So first of all, there's the one on our Finder, which you can see I've got quite a bit of trash in that one, so I'll empty that one. Okay, and then I've got another one sitting in my mail. Okay, and there I can see there's under my mail, I've got my junk as well as my deleted items under my bin there. So I can clear that out as well. Okay, and that will free up quite a bit of storage on your Mac, depending on how much mail you have. As well as the last one, which is in my photos. Now, guys, if you have, you know, if you've done all the WhatsApp photos and you want to clear them out and you've deleted them, and they will go into your recently deleted items. So if you go there, you will see there's plenty of deleted items, and you can also delete all of those items as well. So those are your 3 trash cans that you have. Now, seeing that we are talking about clearing of storage, we have talked about this before in clearing or cleaning your Mac. Okay, you can watch that video as well, but I'm just going to touch base on it once again because this is a vital part of our maintenance of our Mac as well. You see, guys, the important thing is that if you've got less than double the amount of RAM in terms of storage on your Mac can perform very slow to even the degree of apps quitting. So Now, to make sure that your drive is an optimal level, I'm going to go to my Apple menu, About This Mac. And under About This Mac, I'm going to go to the Storage tab, and I'm going to go to my storage management. You can already see I've got about 27 gigs on my on my hard drive in terms of free storage. And if I look at my overview, I've got 8 gigs of RAM, so I'm way above the 16 gig, but I'm cutting it very close. So now I can actually go into my storage tab under management, and now I can start maybe look at how I can clear more storage off it. Now, the one place I will check out is under my reduce clutter. And under my reduce clutter here, it will organize all of my files in my documents folder from largest to smallest. Now, when I look at this, guys, I can clearly see that there's quite a lot of files that I can remove, which is all of these movies here that my beautiful wife have downloaded for me. I don't need to keep it on my Mac. So now I can actually click on it, or let me highlight all of them, right? So I hold down my shift key, select the first one, hold down shift, the last one, and there's everything in between. And I want to clear this out. I can just click on delete. Now, when I click on delete, keep in mind, and it already tells you that how much storage is freeing up. Keep this in mind, when you delete any files from the storage management, it bypasses the trash or the bin, and it clears it off your Mac immediately, okay? So just a bit of a caution, just take a little bit of caution. But if you've got Time Machine and you by mistake have deleted something through that, there's your safety net in place. So now for this, I'm just going to delete it. Okay. So there I've got more storage available, which will update pretty soon on my Mac. Now, there's other tabs as well. So if I go to downloads, this looks now at my downloads folder. Now guys, just as I mentioned earlier on, but if you delete something from here, it will delete it totally. When it comes to downloads, I'm a little bit careful when it comes to this, and I'd rather do it via Finder. So I'll go to my Finder and I go to my downloads folder. Okay. So in my downloads folder now, your downloads folder is normally the storage place for when you are downloading, say, installers of a software, when you are downloading maybe things that you don't want to keep permanently on your Mac. I always handle my downloads folder as a temporary storage folder. If it's important, I move it to my documents or my desktop. If it's not important, I trash it. That's how I work with it. The reason for that is that if I move it into my documents or my downloads folder, my desktop folder, it automatically stores it also in the cloud. So this is how I manage my workflow in terms of how I keep my files. So yeah, I've got quite a few things that I actually can delete. So there I can remove that file there. These are all, you see the files that end with DMG. Those are installers that are already installed on my Mac. So I can remove them. So that's that one. There's this one here. And if I go further down, there might be a few others as well. But for now, I'm just going to remove those two. So I'll just do a secondary click on them, and I'll go to move to done. Okay. So this is now how I can clear some more storage off it. Now, guys, I'm just going to close down my Finder. I'm going to go back to my storage management. And under my storage management is, of course, my unsupported apps. And this will point out all the apps that is not supported within Catalina. Guys, don't hesitate. Delete that stuff. It's sitting there for no reason whatsoever. You can go into File Browser and you can go into more detail in terms of where or what folder is taking up more storage. You can clear those ones off as well. Very important is this option here, iOS files. If you've got an option here that says iOS files, these are now files that you have backed up to your Mac from your iPhone or your iPad and so on. This can take up a whole chunk of storage on your machine. I would say you can clear that off and rather do a backup onto iCloud from your device. Okay. So now I'm just going to clear that off. I'm just going to delete it straight. I don't need it. And besides, it's pretty small, so I didn't complete the process. And these are basically the way you can manage your storage. And you can see I've already cleared up almost another 10 gigs just by doing those few things. Okay. Now that we have looked at the storage and how we can clear up our storage, now we can go into a little bit more detail in terms of looking at some of the aspects that will take up additional storage on our machine, and that is one thing: duplicated photos. Okay. Guys, one thing that I always pick up when I go to clients, I sometimes just browse through the photos library, and the one question I ask, do you have duplicates in your library? And people always say, I suspect I've got a lot. Now, manually to look for duplicates is a bit of a nightmare, okay? Because you have to go into each one and delete them manually. There are certain software applications that you can do this, can make the process faster. Now, the one application that I do recommend is called Duplicate Annihilator. And it's on the website called bratu.com. You can just type in bratu.com. It's only $8, guys. It's about 135, 40 bucks. 140 bucks more or less. So this piece of software does a fantastic job, and what it does is it will actually scan through your library. It won't delete the photo. What it will do is it will add a keyword saying duplicate, right? So yeah, I can select my library. I can start scanning it. I will scan through it. If you've got a massive library, it can take a good couple of hours to half a day, depending on the size of your library. I do recommend to do it overnight. When you are finished, then it will do a duplicate keyword like I mentioned to you. So say for instance, I go into my photos and say if I should type in duplicate and my search, okay, maybe I didn't do it on this library, but as you can see, it's not showing me any results because I'm a good boy. I already cleared off all of my duplicates. But if they were duplicated, all the photos that were duplicated would show up, and I can do either one of two things: put it in an album, store it somewhere else, or just remove it totally from my library. And because your library is cloud-based, it will do it on all of your devices, thus making it much easier to manage everything from just one simple application. So that is in terms of that should free yourself up quite a bit of storage. You are cleared out and so on. But now there are some other background processes that can also slow your Mac down. Okay, and this now takes me into some of the more technical applications. Now, guys, you do have a folder on your Mac called caches. For those who know French, you know caches is a hidden, stands just for hidden folder or hidden storage or so on. So some information is hidden away to take you away from all those processes, okay? So now, if we want to clear that out or get an application to scan and to clear it off, there is an application called Onix, and the website you can get it from is, I'm just going to call it up quickly. One sec, just find it. There we go. It's called titanium-software .fr. The link is there in the chats if you guys want to grab it, but all you can do is just Google Onix for Mac and it will give you to that website. And the one thing about this website, it depends on what type of operating system you have on your Mac. If you've got an older operating system, I would say download the correct one. And for those who don't know where to check which operating system they have, you just go to the Apple About This Mac and it will show it to you. So I've got Catalina, so I can just download the latest one right at the top, which is for Catalina. So I'm going to show you guys what the interface looks like. It's fairly straightforward and easy. Here, If we open it, it will come up. It will first ask you to put your administrative password, normally the password that you log into your computer. And then from here, you can just go to maintenance. And guys, you can just go and straight ahead and run the tasks. It will come up with a spinning beach ball of death, but just let it run through. If you don't want to do it throughout the day, I would recommend you do it when, or maybe overnight. That's even the better option. Now, guys, you would notice right at the top, it says here, delete time machine local snapshots. And I forgot to mention this to you. If you run in Catalina, then what your Mac does is it does local snapshots of your inside of time machine straight onto the hard drive of your machine. So when you plug in your external drive to do the backup, it will automatically move that snapshots onto your external, right? So first of all, it will clear up more storage on your machine because now it's moving those snapshots onto your external. So that's one of the benefits of Catalina. But what if you are running a different backup system? Then you can run Onix and just click on delete time machine local snapshots and it will do it for you. Okay, so very handy application to have. Guys, I freed up tons of storage just by using this application. Okay, so that is one good application. Now, one last thing I like to quickly emphasize on is that, and this is basically my my last resort I go to when it comes down to maintaining my drive, and this is using disk repair utility. Okay, so to get to my disk repair utility, I'm just going to use Spotlight Search as the quickest way to find it. So I'm going to go to Spotlight Search, and I'm just going to type in disk, and you can see disk utility will come up. I'll just double click on it, and it comes up with my disk utility, and here I can select my hard drive. Guys, in some cases, your hard drive will show up like this, right? You get what they call volumes, and all you do is you go to view at the top, and you can just say show all devices. And under that, I normally select my container. That's basically where the volumes fall. It's a hierarchy of where your volumes will fall underneath. And when I'm on that, I can just click on first aid. And what this does is it will scan your hard drive and it will check out all the errors, and it will do a fantastic job, or try to do a fantastic job into repairing it. Okay. That's one way of doing it. However, I do recommend to go into your recovery drive. Now, I can't show you guys that because I have to restart my Mac to go into my recovery drive, but I made a little video for you guys to show you what it looks like. So, there we go. So, there's my video. So, first of all, when I start off, when my Mac boots up, I hold down the Command and R key, right? And it takes about, about a half a minute to 2 minutes when you're holding it down. The startup will be a bit longer, okay? So when the startup is a bit longer while holding down Command and R, that's normal, okay? So when it's done, it will start up on the screen, it will examine your volumes, and then it will take you into this window here. Now, when you're on this window here, then all you do is you click on disk utility, which we've mentioned earlier on. Okay. As you can see, I was giving myself some time to talk. Then I double click on disk utility, which will take me into the same window as what you've seen before on my Mac. And now I can either choose any of the volumes, or what I can do is I can go back to the view button, show all devices, select my container, and then click on my first aid and just run that process. And again, this will scan throughout my whole drive, and it will give me, it will show me it's repairing, or if it can't repair it, it will even give me the output for that as well. So they can see my drive is okay. I click on done, and I can just restart the process. or restart my Mac again as normal. Guys, last thing, if for some reason your Mac does not perform to optimal level after this, then I would recommend that you actually make a booking with our Fundi guys, and you would see that's in the chats as well that I left it. Make a booking with our Fundi guys, and they will take the process even further. If you did all of these things, you would, on your Fundi build, you can easily cut down another half an hour to an hour, because then they would not do those processes which I've shown you just now. Okay, so that is my presentation, guys. I'm going to open it now for questions. Thank you very much.
Angela, can I ask a question? Why is it important to restart in recovery mode? Well, because I do my disk utility quite a lot. Is it problematic just to do it when you're in normal mode?
Good question.
I was restarting all the time.
Thank you for mentioning that, Amanda. What happened is that when you're booting in your recovery mode, then you're actually working outside of your main system, right? It's like this layman's terms. It's like, you know, if I have a problem on my head and I have to use tools and a mirror to work on my head, I'm not going to do such a fantastic job. Whereas if I give my tools to you, you will do a way better job, you know? So it's like that analogy where when you go into the recovery drive, you're actually going outside the system to repair the system.
Okay, I get that. And the recovery mode, was that Command R or Command RP? Okay, just Command R.
No, just Command R.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, because I do. Is it problematic to do this disk utility without doing recovery mode? Because I mean, it can't create any harm.
No, it won't do any harm. When you do it that way, I noticed that in a lot of cases, it won't pick up as many, it won't do as a deeper scan as you would if you're in a recovery, right? I picked it up on a few occasions on that one, Amanda. It's even recommended by Apple to say, look, go into the recovery and then do it that way.
Okay. Can I add something to that, though? Lance, you know, I know back in the day, we used to spend all of our time doing things like rebuilding the desktop and, you know, pre Mac OS 11. But Unix is a very, that underpins the Mac OS, is a very, very powerful operating system. And it does quite a lot of self-repair stuff all the time. And there really should be no reason for you to go into doing, into disk utility and doing this on a regular basis. It's, I mean, if it makes you feel comfortable, that's cool. But honestly, there's very little use for it. I mean, Angelo said one of the most important things that you can do is to back up your machine. I would say the second most important thing that you can do with your computer if it's got a problem is restarting it.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
I know it's a cliche, turn it off and on again, but you're putting your computer back into a known state and making sure that the problem doesn't exist there.
On that note, can I ask you, I leave my computer on all the time. Is that good or bad? I mean, should I be switching it off every night? I mean, I actually leave it on forever. I never switch it off.
Amanda, your Mac actually does, I always tell my clients, it's very important to at least once to twice a week to restart your machine. I tell you why. First of all, your Mac does not a restart, but a shutdown and then restart. Your Mac does what they call a post-test. It tests all the hardware before it actually boots in. That's the one thing. The second thing is I picked up so many times when you do a restart, right, that certain software packages will actually notify you that there's updates available without you actually going in. So it will send a notification after you've done the restart. So I do recommend to do that. Also, guys, if those who are running laptops, please do not keep your laptop plugged in 24/7 into battery, because you treat your laptop as a mobile device. If you don't, you're gonna run your battery dry. So keep it plugged in, charge full, unplug. you can easily get another 2 to 3 years out of your battery life like that.
And just to add, Kuba, sorry, I see you. We're coming a second. That I personally, on a weekend, shut the machine down once. There's a difference between restarting a machine and shutting it down. There literally is a difference. There are different activities that go on when you do a shutdown compared to a restart. And if these machines are designed to stay up forever, frankly. They're based on server technology. The difference is that when you've got a server, typically you've got one program or 2 or 3 programs running constantly. You're not quitting programs, restarting them, quitting programs, restarting them. Whereas you and I might run 10, 15, 20 different programs a day, and you're shutting them down and starting them up and shutting them down. So a shutdown once a week is probably a good thing to do. Leaving them running overnight is also good to do, because if you go to Onix, if you download Onix and have a look at it, you'll see that there's certain maintenance tasks that the operating system does daily, weekly, monthly, and so on. And it gives them an opportunity to run those tasks in the background.
Okay, we'll go with Quibus first, and then we come to Sean.
Angelo, 2 quick questions. You mentioned this ratio. Is my voice on? Yeah.
Yeah.
You've mentioned this ratio between RAM and space. Could you just repeat that for me? And
Okay, sure.
Second thing is, very simple question. I have on my desktop, I have the icon of my hard drive. If I take it away off from my screen, I hope that doesn't delete my hard drive.
No, I'll quickly show you both, Quibus. So as you can see, if I go to my Apple in the top about this Mac, right? Under my main screen, it will show me that I've got 8 gigs of memory, right? So yeah, that's my RAM. So 2 times my storage, it must be 16 gigs. So I mustn't go below 16 gigs, okay? So if I look at my storage here, it shows me now I've got 34.5 gigs left. So I'm still on the safe side. If I go beyond that, then it's a problem. Now, coming to the part of the hard drive, if you want to hide your hard drive, if you go to, if you on Find, as you can see at the top, I'm in Find at the moment, you can just go to Preferences, and in your Preferences, under General, you can just untick hard disks, and that will hide your hard drives. As well as external, you can see my backup drive is showing me, but if I untick this, it's not there anymore. So you can just hide it and show it like that.
Thank you.
Cool. Cool. Sean.
Hi there, everybody. So first thing is I'm a very sloppy Mac user, which means that I open up multiple files in multiple applications, and I find that it sucks the RAM dry. And especially when you're working on intensive Excel files with lots of links, etc., the system response time slows down terribly. And generally the shutdown and restart frees the RAM, clears the cache, and makes the machine more responsive. If we've got more RAM, so if we've got 16 or 32 gig of RAM, does your principle of RAM to storage space still apply? Because
the major thing when it comes down to speeding up your machine, and I've actually spoken to my technical guys about this. The major component to speeding up your machine is a solid state drive, right? A solid state drive can really majorly improve on the speed of your machine. That is if you don't have one. So if your machine is built in with a solid state drive, then the other aspect that I would recommend is having enough memory on your machine. So like you said, if you only have 16 gigs of memory on your machine, then I would say then keep at least 32 gigs free of hard drive storage. Even
we lost Angelo.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll wait for him to connect, and I'll contradict him completely. The RAM usage on your computer. One of them is called Chrome, and the other one is called tabs in Chrome. if you use Chrome and you have multiple tabs open at the same time, and you go into Activity Monitor and you look at the amount of memory that Chrome is using, you can say goodbye to your RAM. So one of those things, and a lot of us do it. A lot of us have a lot of tabs open because we're doing research. We've got one window with 10 tabs, another one with 20 tabs open. Before you know it, you've got 50 or 60 tabs open, even though you don't think so. And your computer's RAM has just disappeared. That's one thing you might want to keep an eye on as well.
Thank you.
So guys, give Safari a try.
And then Angela, the second was, so I use a Microsoft 365 account, and we've got the OneDrive facility there as well, which I speak under correction comes with, is it OneDrive
with 365?
It's a terabyte. It's a terabyte.
I wasn't sure. Yeah. Can you use that as a backup location as well? Or, because I'm not really sure how to use all these different options. I run a time capsule, I run an iCloud backup, and I have the OneDrive, but I'm not really sure what I do with it or how I could use it or should use it.
OneDrive is specifically organizational based. The one thing I picked up about OneDrive, you can't sync your desktop and documents folder directly to it. What I've seen people do though is that they can, say if you've got an iCloud backup, which is your desktop and your documents folder sync, then they would make a shortcut of a folder straight to their OneDrive, so it actually syncs both ways. I would say keep your personal stuff inside of your desktop and documents, which syncs to your cloud, Sean. And I would say the organizational stuff, keep it on your OneDrive. That's how I manage my work on my side. Yeah.
One thing I'd like to add to that as well, Ange, is that I use a third-party backup service called Backblaze. I had to wait until we had fiber just because it's, it takes a while. But Backblaze will cost you $6 a month. I think $6 a month, and you get a discount if you pay for a year as opposed to monthly. And that backs up your entire computer to an online service, much like Time Machine, except it's remote. Backblaze, I don't get any money from them, sadly, but you can log on via a web browser anywhere in the world and start downloading your backups, or they will send you a USB stick, I think up to 64 gigs, which if you send it back to them, they refund you the cost of the USB stick, or they'll put your entire backup onto a hard drive and send it off to you. I think they're ex-Apple engineers, and I've never had anything but good service from them. I think it took about 4 or 5 days to do the first backup, and subsequently there is nothing remaining to be backed up on my machine, and it backs up every hour on the hour. And for me, I've got time capsule here, I've got online backup. It's just peace of mind knowing that if the house burns down or there's a flash flood or something, all my data is stored somewhere else as well.
Yes, I just need to get back to Activity Monitor. When I go there and I look at my CPU or my threads, I often find there's a kernel task taking up a lot of CPU and memory.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to know what the kernel is?
Yeah, could I just stop it and delete it? I'm not so sure about it.
The kernel is the heart of your Mac operating system. The kernel is the one process that manages every other process. So that is basically, that's your operating system doing its job. No, you can't do that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
I was tempted.
In terms of running Windows Parallels on the same machine, are there any tips and tricks for clearing up space, keeping things running effectively?
Heidi, do you run your Parallels where you're seeing your desktop and documents as a desktop and documents of your Mac?
Yes.
Okay. No, that's the best way of doing it.
Okay. Cool.
Because it syncs with your. It's actually a pretty cool feature of Parallels, where if you move something onto your desktop of your Windows side, it actually shows it on the desktop of your Mac. For me, the only thing is when it comes down to Parallels, I always up my memory further on my parallel side.
Okay.
So say for instance, you've got a 16 gig memory on your machine, then I would rather make it 8 gigs for Windows, right?
Okay.
Especially now that we are in the era of Windows 10, where you can see more memory on that side. Other than that, it's beautiful that you're actually running it as joined with your desktop and documents.
Okay, great, thanks.
Obviously, in our experience, the best way to get your machine nice and fast again is to buy the latest model of from Digicape. But if you can't do that, I've heard, I don't know if this is true or not, or whether it used to be and it's changed. But I heard someone saying that the more files and folders you have on your desktop, that can actually have an impact on the speed of the machine. Is that true or not? I can't find out if that is true. That is true.
Yes, sir.
The reason for it is if you've got a file and you tap the space bar, you get a preview of it.
Yep.
Right. The operating system builds a quick preview of all the content of every icon on your desktop. So
Okay.
it's almost like, so if you've got 100 files on your desktop, it's almost like having 100 windows open at the same time. So it's probably a good idea to do a bit of housekeeping on your desktop.
And stuffing a load of individual documents into a folder, does that help if you still wanted to keep that folder on your desktop, or is that irrelevant?
No, that's fine. In fact, personally, my choice is I wouldn't put folders on my desktop. I put the folders inside the folder structure, but then I put aliases on the desktop to those folders. Okay. So that if you need to get at it, you just double click on it. But if you accidentally throw it away, you haven't lost 10 years work.
Awesome. All of the best, guys. Thank you very much. Yeah, if you have any other questions, feel free to email me and I'll take you through whatever information I have. Yeah. If I don't, I'll refer you to someone who does.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Ange.
Thanks, Ange.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody.
Cheers.
Thanks.